What is going on, guys? My name is Joe Mills. Welcome back to another video. I've been gardening and growing my own food now for just over 12 years, and I've been green fingered since I was 6 years old. The first patio I ever laid and the first raised bed I ever sort of put together was when I was 6.5 years old in my mum's back garden. Since then, I've come a really long way in knowledge and things like that, and I've learnt a hell of a lot over the years through trial and error, and making a ton of mistakes along the way, and now my approach to gardening has changed from what I thought I knew to nature and what nature knows best. So we are opting to go fully no dig on our joint Dorset plot that myself and Jenny share, and this is our journey so far. We gave ourselves a target of 90 days to get the plot turned around and to get rid of all of the contaminated material that was unfortunately thrown on our plot when it was vandalised last year. Now, that featured in global news, and it was incredible. The coverage we got was amazing, and not only that, but we raised enough money to continue building and enough money to replace all of the contaminated compost with brand new growing material. And just 63 days in, we are approaching our goal of having an allotment that's fully no dig, that's going to absolutely thrive. It's going to be full of flowers, fruits and vegetables that the whole family can consume all year, that would take us hopefully all the way through into the colder months of winter. I enjoy gardening because of what it gives me back. It gives me freedom, it gives me motivation, and it's encouragement. That's why I decided to go no dig in the first place, is because I found it nature's way. There's a lot of information online, but what I find works best is trial and error. You've got to make mistakes yourself to kind of learn from them, and to learn how to adapt to your climate, or if you're growing by the seasons are changeable, so you've got to learn to adapt, and you've got to kind of have a passion for it and have a love for it. That's on a very extreme level to be very good at it, and for it to reward you in the same way it rewards me. Gardening helps with my mental health. It helps get Jenny and Thomas out the house as well in times of lockdown, when there's absolutely nowhere else for us all to go as a family. We're all very much green fingered people, and we love it. We really do. Now, we're just 63 days in to our 90-day target, and that might sound like a very short space of time to completely transform a plot around, and that includes laying patios, building the sheds, pergola, seating area, and enough raised beds to feed a family of 4, and still have a surplus amount of food to potentially give away. I do get a lot of comments every single day on all of the videos that I've put out, and there's a good 500 of them, and the most common one I've had this month, or the most popular comment I've had this month, is when am I going to start sowing things, bits and pieces, and when I'm going to get the onions and that in. So guys, I'd just like to say we are approaching spring, and you're not too late if you want to start sowing now, and you won't be too late if you leave it a month, especially in the UK. Now, primarily I want to work on the building side of the plot, because we only really want to do it once, and we want to do it right. So it's not taken that long, because we do put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Myself and Jenny seem to thrive under pressure, and although 90 days is no time at all, it's enough time for us to actually turn this around and feel very proud that we've done it in 90 days. Now, I do hold a horticultural diploma, and I have featured on the BBC and in Thompson and Morgan on their blog and in their magazine. I do know a thing or two about growing my own food, and that's the whole point of the channel, is to bring you guys along and share the experiences with you, so you can kind of adapt it, make it your own, and learn along the way from bits of advice that I can give you and a few tips that I can share with you. But primarily it starts with you getting something in the ground and feeling that satisfaction of watching it grow, and caring for it like you care for a child or even a pet. You've got to look after what you grow, and you've got to put blood, sweat and tears into it if you want a huge yield at the end of it that you're going to be smiling about when you present it at your dinner table. I love it, I really do, and nothing on this planet will ever take the passion and the love that I have for it away. It doesn't matter how many negative comments I get, based on how I dress or tattoos and things like that. Gardening doesn't discriminate, and I've mentioned it before in a previous video. It doesn't matter who you are, what walk of life you come from, whether you've got disabilities or you're even in a wheelchair, for example. Gardening, you can make work around you, and it has so many benefits. I do have videos on the channel explaining how you can go about getting an allotment plot if you live in the UK. It can be quite a simple process, but it can also be quite a lengthy one. I've got, you know, tricks and tips that I've used along the way. I currently hold 3 allotment plots in my name, 2 in London, 1 in Dorset, and have done so for just over a year now. I've been allotmenteering for about 8 years, and I couldn't recommend it more. I really couldn't. Now, what got me growing my own food originally was growing up in poverty, believe it or not. I really like the idea of growing the foods that we couldn't afford to buy as a poor family. I'll say it how it is. And when I, you know, see people consuming things like strawberries or fresh tomatoes and grapes, and I think, oh my God, I wish I had some of them, because they look delicious, but we just simply couldn't afford it. Food back then, or fresh food, wasn't as cheap, I don't feel, as it is now. For example, certain supermarkets at certain times of the year, you know, you can buy bags of strawberries, bags of tomatoes for less than 20p. Back then, I don't remember that being a thing. I don't remember a certain supermarket that rhymes with Tiddle actually doing things like that. So yeah, we missed out on a lot. So my whole ideology behind it was, I'll just grow the things that we can't afford to go and buy, and then we can start eating, you know, better food. Now, what actually happened was, I'd never seen a courgette before until I started growing them. Where we lived, there was a little greengrocer on the corner, and he used to sell 3 courgettes for £1. And back then, £1 was a lot of money. You'd get a pint of milk and a loaf of bread and still come out with enough change to get some sweets, for example. So that's one of the first things I ever grew. And I couldn't believe the yield. I was thinking, why are they so expensive when the plant just keeps giving them? You know, 1 seed, 1 plant will feed a family of 4, you know, for a good quarter of the year, you know, if you lived on courgette, that is. And I was amazed, absolutely amazed by it, that it just sparked something that we could, you know, grow all of our own food, and we could do it for free. Now, growing up, and obviously trial and error, and, you know, knowing what certain plants and crops and shrubs and that need to give you fruit and veg, I learned quite quickly that nowadays you can't necessarily grow a lot of your own food for cheaper than you could go and buy it. So it's not necessarily about that anymore. It's about the love and the passion that I have for what I call the game. You know, learning from nature and the environment around you is what keeps me going. So guys, let me give you a little bit of a plot tour, show you what we've done, show you what we've put in place so that we can get the best yield for the smallest amount of money and a ton of enjoyment along the way. There's just a little housekeeping to do before I show you guys around. Yeah, I know I need a bigger broom. So what's happened here? What's happened to my broad beans?
A dinosaur's attacked it.
A dinosaur's attacked them?
And one dinosaur was trying to stop a big dinosaur.
Well, that's not good. That's really not good.
Nah.
No. That's okay.
He's stuck.
Right, so the dinosaurs are now banned from the allotment.
Yeah.
Yeah? Right, okay. That is total carnage, Thomas.
Yes.
Yes.
Get me out of here.
Unfortunately, guys, my broad beans have had it. I think Thomas got a bit bored of them, shall we say. I will have a little chat with him later on, because we want things to do quite well, and we'll figure out which naughty dinosaur it was that actually broke all the broad beans, and we'll ban him. We'll sack him off, and he's not coming down the plot anymore. Now, guys, just to talk to you about what we've been doing, I'm pretty sure you can see it's looking a damn sight different to what it used to look like. Yeah, we're really pleased with it. Now, let me just talk you through the no-dig approach, which is all of this, and then what we're going to be doing on this side, which is about 70% no dig, apart from the buckets. Right, now let me start you guys off down here, because all of these beds I've built and me and Jenny have prepared them in such a way where they're no dig. Now what does that mean? Well, all no dig really means is that we don't dig. Simple as that. When we get weeds, we surface hoe them off, and we don't go too deep. If we get weeds that are quite stubborn, we just keep adding cardboard, manure, compost and newspaper to suppress them. And what that does is it creates an environment, you know, very deep within the bed, where the worms are doing quite well, the microorganisms are doing amazing, which means your plants and your roots are going to thrive too. Now, a lot of people, they're not converted by no dig. I don't know why that is, you know, each to their own. But this is a forest floor, guys, that we're creating here, with a lot more feed and a lot more nutrition available. So yeah, they will sink, and we'll just keep adding year after year. Rather than dig, we'll just add manure, compost, mulch, newspaper, all of those good things, and we'll keep building the layers, and we go straight on top. And a lot of people might think, well, how does it get dug in? Well, the worms do it, guys. You know, the worms come up and they pull down the organic matter that's not fully broken down, and they break it down for you. I mean, they do the digging on your behalf. You just can't beat it, guys. You really can't. On this side, I do have 30-litre buckets in place, and they're going to be for this year's potato crop. Now, they're not no dig, because I couldn't really figure out how you can do no dig spuds, considering you need to dig them out because they're quite deep in the ground. So yeah, we've decided to use the buckets again. I used to grow all of my potatoes in buckets on my London plot, and I've had really good success with doing so. And then we've just put wood chip in between, so we can kind of walk, you know, and we've spaced them out so that the air can still get in, and we can still get in, and water and feed and all of that good stuff. So that's the first part of the plot, guys, and we've got all the slabs laid up the front as well, and all of the beds go straight down into the earth. There's no membrane, there's no slabs, there's nothing underneath any of these beds that prevents, you know, roots getting quite deep. So it's all good stuff. Jenny's broad beans are doing really well for being inside the tunnel and out of the elements. Mine did get a little bit of frost damage, you know, in the last sort of 2 weeks, whereas Jenny's haven't really suffered any at all. So other than a bit of feed when they need it, and a light hoe inside this bed, there's nothing really to it. And then what we'll do when they get so big is we'll just remove the cover, or you know, raise it all the way back, so that then they've got a lot more room. Now on this part, I've changed the slope that we had that sloped down for a wheelbarrow to a step, and that's simply because we was all finding that we was kind of skidding down it in bad weather, and I thought it's a bit safer for Thomas as well to actually turn it into a step. So that's what we've done. And all I did was I just sunk a very long slab about a foot in the ground, and then used that to put the other slabs on. Now they're not all the same slab, if you can probably tell. So there's, you know, 2 foot slabs and 1 foot slabs, and they kind of match. So I'm kind of happy with it. I mean, if it was my own back garden, it would probably be done exactly the same, to be honest. So I'm not too concerned about, you know, aesthetics on gaps and stuff. I actually think this part of the plot is looking really good, even if it is driving my OCD up the wall. The Boris bed that I built for Jenny, that she started putting bulbs in pretty much immediately, is looking really good. And this is pretty much all compost that we bought in. You can see the odd bead or ball of feed just inside the compost here, and all the bulbs have actually started to come through, which is, it's just going to look amazing. Can you see over the back there? All these bulbs coming through. It's going to look so good. And I'm not 100% sure what Jenny's planning on putting in the middle and the top tier of this bed, but I do believe there's gladioli in the base, some tulips maybe. I can't actually remember. I'll have to watch the video back. But like I say, this is all bought in compost. So what I thought I'd do for a bit of an experiment, if I just spin you guys round and show you my Boris bed, which is identical, is that I've used all of the broken down wood chip as a sub layer in here. So it's probably going to still steal nitrogen from the top layer of compost, but I'm going to combat that by adding in more feed. I'm going to let this leach out in the elements before I actually add any compost to the top of it, and then we'll do the no dig approach again with, you know, newspaper and things. But guys, if I just give you a comparison of growing material versus what I've managed to get here for free to fill pretty much this entire bed, versus what we paid about, I don't know, 50 quid for in here. I'm pretty sure there's nothing in the top. There's not a lot in it really. You know, I'm well aware this is compost and this is wood mulch, but for free and then as an experiment, you know, this stuff left for 5 to 7 years is ideal mulch around plants, and it's full of feed. Yeah, this is only a year old, so still a little bit woody, but very much usable as a dressing on the top or beneath your layers. So this will sink down as well, and I am going to remove some of the lower tier to fill the top tier. So then we'll have about just under a foot available to fill with our actual compost that we're going to buy in, probably until we're in a position to start, you know, harvesting our own once we start making it. So just past the Boris beds, probably looks a little bit like a builder's site, and that's pretty much because it is. Now we've got some ideas for here, and one of which is going to be a decked seating, cooking, food preparation area, and I've just made this very basic shape just so I can get a bit of a visual as to what it's going to look like with the pergola above. Now this is going to take some time, and we're going to do it completely out of pallets, and in the back half where we're planning on putting, I'm going to keep that a secret for now actually. Yeah, I'm going to keep that a secret. The reason I'm keeping that a secret is because I don't think it's been done before on an allotment in the UK. So yeah, it should be a YouTube first, and it's going to be incredible. It really will be. Honestly, it's going to serve us so many benefits. Getting back to the plot tour, I've laid another piece of wood down. It's been moved ever so slightly, but it's going to basically start at the edge of my Boris bed, and this is going to be another garden. This is going to be full of pots and sort of tall pallet planters, and it's going to be really pretty when it's done, and it gives us additional growing space as well. And then this kind of shape, you know, if I just back up a little bit, it will mean that we're going to eventually get either a Joe shed or a greenhouse here, which I think would be brilliant, and then that would give us a little bit of a wood chip walkway, you know, between the pergola and the cooking area. State of my hands now. And the second garden that we're going to have, possibly a gate or something along here that would take us all the way up to Jenny's shed and the storage shed at the back. Jenny, do you ever stop working?
I've just put the fast drainage holes in.
Oh, amazing.
And I think I've secured all the feet now.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
well
so
done.
It's like giant Jenga.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Don't knock it down though, will you? Well done, baby. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing with this. This was a bed, wasn't it, last year? Before you actually came over and joined me.
Yes, yeah, it was. It was. I bought you some geraniums.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
I forced some geraniums on you, not knowing whether you like them or not.
I love them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what we're going to do with it this year. Make it look pretty. Pots.
Yes.
We've got so many bulbs and stuff to put in still, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Amazing. So the storage shed actually holds something. Oh, it takes ages to get in here because it's all warped. Actually holds something we picked up from a subscriber, which is in here. Guys, I'm going to save that for another vlog because it's going to be a long one. But yeah, just behind the shed we've still got, you know, our little storage area for wood and materials and things like that. And I'm yet to fix the broken window because I'm in two minds whether to just rip out this side wall and start again. I started removing the cladding just to see what condition it's in, and it's just completely rotten. So I'm not sure how long this shed's going to stay for. I haven't decided. So we also got Jenny's shed dismantled and brought over from her plot, and then I connected some guttering up and a water butt. Just needs a little bit of a general tidy up in this corner, and then we're going to continue the fence, which is all reclaimed wood. Some of it's from, you know, cladding on a shed, some of it's from old fence posts. It's all usable, and you know, once put up and painted it would look quite nice. Guys, we're going to jump back to my side quickly because I just want to explain to you what the future plans are. So I'm going to do another raised bed here because I want to use as much of the space available that we've got. I've put the cold frame that I built Jenny just in the corner here at the back. I'm happy if she's happy with it there, and then I'll have another bed coming out in front of it, and then a long thin one along here with just enough space to walk around. I don't need space for a wheelbarrow or anything like that. And then this is the garlic bed. The garlic is all in and it's all been tucked in. Hopefully that'll do quite well. And then I made this little mini cold frame bed for myself as well, so that I can start things off underneath it, and when they get to a certain height I can just simply remove the glass, and then that takes us back up to the front of the plot. I've also got a planter that I built and Jenny filled with tulips and a whole array of other bulbs as well, and I've fixed that to the fence and put it on legs as well, so that's going to give, you know, the whole sort of front of the plot a bit of colour before you even sort of walk up and kind of enter it. So what actually have we done? I'm trying to fight the wind and the rain, guys. I must have remade this 3 times today and it's just been relentless. But we've built a pergola, we've brought over Jenny's shed, we've completely gutted the whole front half of this, raked it completely level, rebuilt every single raised bed that you see here with second-hand decking, mostly from Ross's plot and a bit that I'd salvaged from some skips. Yeah, laid the slabbed path, we've been preparing my side, we've sunk the buckets, we've built a pergola, and we've got a lot more plans in place. So what have we got? A couple of weeks left until we hit our deadline, basically, of 90 days, and I think we're going to get it done. I really do. I feel confident. There's obviously more fencing to do along the side, and I did actually start a bit of fencing on my side but ran out of wood. Story of my life when you do it all recycled, guys. I really hope you've enjoyed this little look around and explanation as to how I got into growing and things like that. Like I say, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, and make sure you click the bell icon, and that way you'll get notified every time I release a new video. And I am really grateful for everybody who watches, you know, the videos that I put out, because it means a lot. It really does. And I know that there's millions of people that share the same passion as I do, and as Jenny does, you know, for gardening and being green fingered. So we really appreciate your time, guys. If you've got a little bit extra time, just head on down into the description and check out our brand new Patreon link. We've had 6 patrons since setting this up, and it's incredible. It's just a way to support the channel if you feel you can. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.